What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. My name is Eli, and in this video, guys, we're going to be going over some of the cost of living expenses that Albuquerque has to offer. Go over some of the areas on a Google Maps tour to really give you guys an idea of what you're getting yourself into if you are thinking about moving to one of these three places. But aside from giving you some good facts on these different areas, we're going to be hopping into some calculators, taking a look at some living expenses and comparing and contrasting them to other cities that most of our clients are moving from in order to have a better quality of life. But enough of me, guys. Let's get right into today's video. Yo, with the influx of people that are moving down here, I really wanted to hop into and do this video just instead of doing a blanket statement of a cost of living video like I've been doing. I wanted to do a full breakdown and really give you guys an analysis around the numbers to give you guys an idea of what we have to offer and what we're dealing with. Now, I'm also going to bring up some different areas and different things that those areas have to offer as far as amenities, parks, styles of homes, and prices. So keep in mind that this video is going to be something that you're going to want to grab a pen and a pad and start writing stuff down with. And if you are thinking about moving down here within the next 30, 60, or 90 days, I'd love to hop on a quick Zoom call with you guys, because as much as I love doing this, being a licensed broker, I love to help you out with your real estate needs. So that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Feel free to reach out. I am the one that answers all the calls, texts, and emails, and I would love to make sure that you are making the right decisions based off of your wants and needs when it comes down to moving to Albuquerque. But enough about me, guys, and what I'm doing with this video. Let's head inside, hop on the Google Maps, hop on these different websites to see what's going on. All right, now really hopping into it and kind of giving you guys the meat and potatoes of everything that we got going on here as far as cost of living. And I know I've done plenty of these videos just kind of giving you guys an outline, but I really wanted to hop on screen with some of the tools that we use to help people compare their living to, where they're at, what Albuquerque is as a whole, and the essence of some of the things that I personally am not super good at, and that's the analytical stuff. So I'd rather have payscale.com tell you guys exactly what we're looking at here, and I figured I might as well hop on and elaborate with you guys and kind of see what I can give you as far as my opinion is, and give you guys an idea of what I believe on some of these things here. So average cost of living, right, is lower than the national average by 7%. Said that before. And everything else is low, right? Housing, utilities, groceries. And although it may not be by a whole lot, still means something, right? You really need to make about 50 grand here in order to maintain, just a standard way of living here, it seems like they're saying. So pretty true. I would say it's probably around like 60, 70 if you want to have a better, more comfortable life. And that's really coming out of two-person income. This is the average pay here as well. So let's see what we got down here. Housing and utilities, right? They're saying that the median home price is around $395,000, which personally, I believe it's around that 360. This may be just a little bit more inflated. Medium rent, that's pretty dead on, around $1,200. Energy bills, phone bills, and stuff like that, that all seems pretty relative, right? Gas is closer to that $3 mark here, which is, rarely ever heard of, especially if you drive a big truck, which a lot of people still do here in Albuquerque. A lot of people still drive a lot of big trucks around here. I personally drive a bigger truck. I'm at the gas station maybe like twice a month. Just because I got a second commuter car, which is another cheat code that a lot of people do here. They drive a commuter car during the week and drive their big trucks when necessary, or during the weekends. More of a weekend vehicle. It's crazy, right? Most people have exotics. We have big trucks. Loaves of bread, almost $4. That's pretty interesting. Down on the milk, not closer to the $5 mark like in some areas that I've seen. Carton of eggs, still pretty affordable here. And this is just general store. If you go to like a farmer's market or anything like that, buy local, it is going to be a little bit more expensive. Bananas and all that stuff. A burger is about $5 unless you go through the McDonald's drive-through. And all this stuff here is kind of like, depending, in my opinion, right, this is where I can see stuff getting a little bit more expensive. This right here, for some people, it's like kind of hit or miss. That's an expensive bill, but this is what they're saying is pretty average for the cost of some of these things here. So taking a look at it and taking it all in, Albuquerque is still pretty affordable. Now let's compare and contrast, from our city to different cities that a lot of our clients and a lot of people that are calling us on this channel are moving from. Now, when we talk about comparing other cities to Albuquerque and really putting things into perspective as far as money goes, housing prices and rent costs and all that stuff, we are going to be taking a look at Denver, Florida, the West Coast, LA, and somehow, some reason, I feel like $100,000 is kind of just like the middle of the road when we're looking at pay here. Now, the average pay here in Albuquerque is around $50,000, so about half that. In some places like Rancho goes up to 70. Taking a look at everything that we have here, you're looking at Denver versus Albuquerque, and it looks like if you make $100,000 in Denver, you need to make about $84,000 here in Albuquerque to maintain the same type of living, which is 15% lower. Now, rent looks like it's going to be 32% lower, with the average rent in Denver being around $2,000, $1,900. Here you're looking at 13. And with all these different areas that we got here, you know, you got condos, townhouses, places with probably a lot of HOA fees and all that stuff. And when we're looking at utilities, we're actually, you know, a little bit higher than they are because they don't have a whole lot of ACs going on down there. It's crazy to me that when you go to a place up in Denver, you are going to see more mini splits versus those central enforced airs. Pretty cool. But food, we're going to be cheaper here. Healthcare is a little cheaper, not by that much. We're pretty comparable in that. Transportation, as far as public transportation, looks like it's significantly lower because one of our main transportations or public transportation system is free nowadays. And homes, looks like it's, you know, almost 30% lower to where our average home price is going to be around that $360,000, $390,000. Looking at those higher 300s, you are going to have a lot to choose from. And it looks like in Denver, you probably are going to be kind of confined to, you know, some of these little areas from what I hear. So now let's compare Tampa. We just recently had some clients move from Tampa. Taking a look at it, it looks like if you make $100,000 there, you need to make a lot more money when you move to Albuquerque, because if you are making $100,000 there, you need to make 97 here in Albuquerque, which in comparison is a lot more money, to be honest with you guys. And we are 30% lower as far as our rents go, right? Same thing as Denver, $2,000, $1,300. Our utilities, looks like they don't got utilities. 30% lower on the energy side. I don't know if this is like a cell phone or a landline, but they're 2% lower. And our food is a 2% lower. Our healthcare is a little bit more expensive. I could assume that with all the sunshine and all that stuff that you guys got going on over there in Florida, there's not going to be all that need staying up to date with your doctors or whatever with all the lax living that you have up on the beach. But all these other stuff, looks like we're goods and services, whatever this is here. Oh, pretty cool haircuts, you know, $15 for a haircut, 30 here on average, which that's about what I pay, to be honest with you guys, for a haircut. It's around $30 with tip. Dry cleaning, I don't do that kind of stuff, but I could assume that a lot of people still do. It'd be more popular up there in Florida where it's a little bit more Miami Vice kind of style. And then, yeah, looks like everything else is pretty much the same. Nothing too crazy. Our income is just a little bit lower. On average, people are making around that, you know, $60,000 or mid 50s. Looks like in Tampa, they're making around $60,000. So we're just a little bit lower than they are, not by that much. But if you are making $100,000 in Tampa, in order to maintain the same type of living, you got to make around $97,000 here in Albuquerque. So let's take a look at the next city, which is going to be Los Angeles. And it looks like if you make $100,000 in Los Angeles, you only need to make about 62 here in order to maintain the same type of living. And it looks like their rent is way higher than us, almost double. Pretty crazy, $2,700 to rent up there in Los Angeles. Utilities, obviously we're going to be everything lower here because they're just super high, right? 40% lower here in our utilities and energy as far as electricity and all that stuff goes. Food, way lower. Healthcare, super low. Transportation, of course, right? Again, we have a free bus route system that you can utilize that takes you from east to west. Income is definitely going to be lower here, right? Where people on average are making around 70 grand. In Los Angeles, here they're making about 56, 60. So keep that in mind that although these cities are super great and wonderful, they have a ton to offer. When we're talking about numbers and affordability, Albuquerque is going to be either just a shy bit more affordable or way more affordable in the sense of housing, utilities, rent, and all that stuff goes. And That's a majority of the reason why people are starting to move here, just because there's some areas in these major cities that they can no longer afford to live in, especially with rents going up. Home prices just keep getting more expensive. Albuquerque seems to be kind of like that last frontier for them. Yo, what's going on, guys? I wanted to hop in real quick just to remind you guys that that number popping up on the screen is my direct line, and I am the one that answers all the calls, texts, and emails. I find it pretty cool that when people call it, it's like, man, that's really you on the other line. And me and my team would honestly love to hop on a quick video call with you guys to make sure that, number one, you are making the right decisions when it comes down to moving to Albuquerque as far as areas, amenities, and everything else goes, and making that transition down here to Albuquerque a lot smoother and a lot faster for you guys. So if that's something that you're looking to do, especially after watching me go off on all these different areas to give you all this great information about what these Albuquerque neighborhoods have to offer around cost of living and living expenses, then feel free to hit us up because we're ready to chat with you guys. But let's get back into the video, guys. Alrighty, guys, now I want to give you guys that bird's eye view of these different areas that we got going on here in Albuquerque as far as affordability goes, amenities, and all that stuff. And first up on this list is going to be the Westgate Heights, and not to be confused with the Southwest Heights because it's pretty much the same thing. And really, when we're talking about this side of town, you're talking about affordability, family-oriented suburbs, more parks, more areas to build. Just because, again, right, they have all of this open space that they're starting to develop. I know that D.R. Horton's starting to develop more homes up in here. And so sooner or later, they're planning on building homes all the way up until Atrisco Vista, which is just going to add more of a residential vibe to this side of town, just because it is suburby, it is out of the way. It, does have a lot to offer in terms of affordability. So more people are flocking to this side of town. So just taking a look here, switching up the map, and let me move my big old head out of the way. When we are talking about this, right, they all look like they're stacked up dominoes, and with the average price on this side of town ranging up, under $300,000, you can tell why more people are moving up here, because you're going to get that average 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot home with a decent living space, which is going to make it super desirable for people to want to live on this side of town, especially because you're going to have all these different parks, right? You're going to have like Truman Middle School, which has a big, awesome grass field. Carlos Frey, that has a big open grass field, the Sunset Park, West Mesa Memorial Park, Tower Skate Park, San Tenorio, which is going to be a softball field that they recently made anew, which is super cool. It's gated, so you can only get in and out at certain times of the day. Then you are also going to have some amenities as far as like shopping, Hobby Lobby, the movie theater, restaurants, and all that stuff right here in Las Estancias. And they are also getting a Dutch Bros right here in this area. And believe it or not too long ago, all this right here was once all this type of farmland, and the little house right here owned all of it. And really, this family has lived here for generations, and they are starting to give a large portion of their land and selling off just because it's getting harder to maintain, from what I hear. So big drainage ditch that runs all along through here that cuts pretty much the neighborhoods. And then you got this big open space that you'll never have neighbors in, because again, it's a big open ditch area. And then you have Atrisco Heritage Academy, which is going to be the main school, the main high school in this district where I graduated from. And then again, right, all this open space that is starting to get developed. These are apartment complexes that recently just got built, more affordable living situations heading to this side of town. And with D.R. Horton just building, this new community here. You've heard me talk about it, the Aspire neighborhood, and we actually just closed on a home in there. Our client bought, I believe, the spec home for around $313,000, brand new house, all these warranties and all this great stuff. So super cool and awesome. But this side of town, again, guys, super family friendly and orientated. We are going to have a ton to offer as far as affordability goes. And that's a main reason why more people are moving to the Southwest Heights or Westgate Heights community. And just because, judging the size of it, it is pretty big. I mean, it spans all the way across Central. A ton of options, ton of different styles of homes, all within that affordable living range. To really paint the picture for you guys, there isn't going to be a whole lot of freeway access here, right? You mainly got just a few, and changing the style of the map again to show you guys the ways to access the freeway. Dennis Chavez is not a freeway, so keep that in mind, that this is just going to be another convenient way for you to access I-25, right? And then you are going to have Coors, which is going to take you all the way to I-40, 98th, that takes you to I-40, Coors, and then Central that connects it all here. And then you got all these little intermingling roads like Bridge, Sage, and Arenal that connect different areas up here very well. So if you are going to be living on this side of town, if you are working on the east side over here, there's going to be very few ways for you to commute over this guy here. And you've heard me talk about it. This is a Rio Grande River, and you really can only go over right here, which is going to be the freeway, Central, and Bridge. So be mindful of your travel times, especially if you are a late riser like I am. You'd want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to get to where you're going. Next up on our list is going to be Uptown, and just because it's more inner city, there's all the Uptown shopping, Coronado Mall, and Windrock Mall, which is getting a total facelift. You are going to find some of the higher end shopping on this side of town. I mean, just take a look at it, guys, right? Windrock is going to be this area here, which is super massive. You are going to be seeing a big complex here. They got underground parking, TJ Maxx, the Nordstrom, and the movie theater there, which I heard is super awesome to go in and enjoy a movie there. I'm not a big movie guy, so I don't like going to movie theaters. I get anxiety and all that crazy stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. And then, of course, you have Coronado Mall, which is right here. And then you are going to have Uptown, which is pretty much all of this right here, which is super conveniently located right in between both malls. So really kind of like zooming in and honing into, you know, all the different shoppings. You are going to have Barnes & Nobles, the Total Wine, the Apple Store. And if you are looking for restaurants and all that stuff, they're going to be all tucked in within here, right? You're going to have like the Melting Pot, the Longhorn Steakhouse, Cheesecake Factory, which I've talked plenty about. Their menu just scares me. They got a super big menu that I don't know what to choose from. The Season 52, Fork and Fig, all these awesome areas that you get to enjoy if you are living in this Uptown area. Now, keep in mind that Uptown is going to be a little bit older, and their homes are right in that low 300s. So very affordable still if you are looking to live somewhere centrally located, kind of inner city with a lot of shopping and a lot of things pretty much, a walking distance away from you guys. And again, Little Bear Coffee, their second location, and their newer location is going to be downtown, which is super cool. Maybe one of these days we can do a video about downtown again and show you that new Little Bear Coffee spot. Man, I give these guys a lot of clout, but I really like their marketing, their coffee, their chai teas. Super vibey, artsy kind of an environment, and from time to time you go in there and it's super alive. You know, the mood is awesome. So really enjoy their space, to be honest with you, especially when it comes down to working. Let's take a look at some of the houses here as far as, you know, space and all that goes, because some of these places, believe it or not, got some pretty decent yard. Again, right, super unique when it came to the way that these houses were built, because they really wanted to maximize the space and, you know, still have that essence of being able to enjoy the outdoors and while living in the inner city, being next to all the commercial and all that stuff there. So let's just kind of hop into the street view just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. Right? Again, very Pueblo style, New Mexico style homes, basic front yards, you know, a lot of dirt, super clean, 1-car garages. Again, right, because they were trying to maximize the space. So you got these large front yards, walkable roads, a lot of trees, you got some grass, 2-car garage, you got these big, you know, pines up in your front yard, some grass, you know. Again, very unique styles of homes on this side of town, and you're really going to want to pay attention because in some areas, you know, you get similar styles of homes, right? You know, 2-car garages. As you can see that we were just in a neighborhood with only 1-car garages and less greenery, a lot more dirt. These people don't want you to see their house, so I don't want to see it either. Okay, we don't want to see their cars, but you could get the picture of, you know, how American, kind of that 70s vibe these houses look. Right, because you got this big front window, you got this little door up in the front, giving you access to be able to see anybody that's coming to your house to come and visit. So super cool there, guys. Just keep in mind that, again, when you are living on this side of town, it's a little bit older, a little bit more established, so you are going to want to get your home inspections done just because some of these houses haven't been touched in years. Let's head away from the inner city, kind of suburbs, to closer to more of a ranch style vibe, somewhere where we're looking at as far as having bigger plots of land and all that. Alrighty guys, now we're gonna go from Uptown, one of my favorite places, and that's gonna be Los Ranchos. Alright, as you can see, there's a ton of greenery right next to the river, so there's gonna be trails, big horse community down here too, so you are gonna see critters and all that stuff tucked away here. So let's zoom in and really take a look at what there is to offer here, right? You got Los Poblanos, which is gonna be an awesome place for you to have pretty much a staycation, go and enjoy a nice dinner, because they also have farm and table there, and you guys got to check it out, right? I put so much b-roll up of this place that it should be pretty much ingrained in your brain if you've been watching the channel for any minute now. Another thing that you kind of want to keep in mind, that they also have open spaces down here, parks, and you are going to have the winery, which is super popular down here, and they got an awesome garden where you can enjoy a nice meal and a nice drink at. So another thing that is super famous down here is going to be the stables here, and it's been around forever. When you are talking about living down here, there's really only a few ways to navigate through here. And when you are living down here, you got to keep in mind there's really only a few ways to navigate through here, right? If you want to cross any side of the river, you're going to have to go through Montano, or you're going to have to come through Alameda, which is going to make it, you know, a drive for you. And personally, there's times where I go through Rio Grande, through here, because it's a one-way street on both ends, and it's going to be a super scenic drive, an awesome drive, because you're going to be driving through these big estates, these big farms, these big ranches that have been there forever. This area, believe it or not, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and the average home price here, if you do get lucky to purchase a house in Los Ranchos, is going to be a little bit over $1 million. So ton of value when it comes to quality of life here, because you're super close to everything, right? You're going to be super close to the west side, you're going to be super close to the east side, and then if you want to travel down to the south side, you can just hop down Rio Grande, and it's going to be a super easy access for you. So keep that in mind, that it's farther away from, you know, some major amenities, but still close enough, just all depending on where you are at and how tucked in into these little neighborhoods you are. All right, guys, so I hope you got a ton of value from this walkthrough video of the map, pulling up the Rent Cafe and pulling up the pay scale website to give you guys a bit of an idea of what we have to offer when it comes to numbers and overall living expenses down here in Albuquerque. And we also talked about some great areas, right? So if you are planning on moving to any one of these areas, or you have a different area in mind, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. And as much as I love doing these videos, I would love to help you find that dream home. So enough of me just kind of blabbering off. I think I've done enough of that for you guys today. So I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day. My kid wants me to fix his bike, got the rusted up chain. So wish me well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.